In today's video, we are taking a look at a chart that will attempt to explain when Bitcoin's top will begin and altcoin season will end. We'll also be taking a look at the short-term and macro price action of Bitcoin, leaving absolutely no stone unturned. Let's dive on in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are taking a look at Bitcoin's short-term and macro price action, discussing possible top dates for the bull market, the recent downward move, whether or not Bitcoin is going to continue higher, the key levels on the short term, and even the altcoin market. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in and you want more of it, you can join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us over in VIP. With 717 members, we post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. Every trade has exact entries, targets, and stop losses. And of course, you'll also get access to all of our group chats, our general chat, our trading chat and education chat, our daily video, our help, and our news chat. Check it out, guys. Join up by clicking the pinned comment in the free channel. You can click my name in that pinned comment, or you can click the two links to find out more information or see our entire 50-month trading track record. Check it out and let's dive on in. So as we can see, over the past 24 hours, there really has been not too much higher time frame price action going on for Bitcoin, but we have seen a whole heap of chop on the short term, with Bitcoin pushing up yesterday's candle to around 97,000 as a high and a low around 94,000. So a $3,000 spread there for Bitcoin on the daily, showing some significant volatility. On the short term, we can see Bitcoin is showing some signs of attempting to reverse. However, we have not cracked that short-term downtrend we need to break above to really see Bitcoin fly back to that 99k retest. We'll come back and discuss that in today's video. We can also see on the total 3, the total 3 has managed to get back above the $1 trillion level, having momentarily dropped back below that on yesterday's correction. So we've managed to reclaim that level, which is a really good sign. We also said in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at possible top dates. We are also going to try do that for the altcoin season. So that is a lot of information there we're going to get into in just a moment. Starting on the market data, 24-hour volume and liquidations. Let's dive into this. Liquidations are sitting at $626 million. Absolutely insane. That is up 115% for the last 24 hours. And as we mentioned on that short-term price action, we had seen a whole heap of volatility, and that is what we are seeing with that volatility. We are seeing a lot of liquidations as there's a lot of indecision in this current range we're discussing in the video later on. Moving back to this data, we can see 24-hour volume was up 82% at 377 billion. So absolutely insane stuff here for the little price action we've really seen for Bitcoin. Moving over to the DXY, we are still seeing this range high respected. Again, we are anticipating this to be our deviation before we then see a correction back towards our range low. This may take multiple months. We are expecting this move to play out by the end of April 2025. Now, the end of April 2025, March, April 2025, is a key date range we'll be discussing later on in the video for both altcoins and for Bitcoin. But we are expecting this to play out until around March to April 2025, so around 2 to 3 months, maybe a little bit more of downward movement here for the DXY. Looking at the S&P 500, we have actually managed to break above our prior higher high facilitating a new all-time high, and thus we are expecting continuations higher here. Again, while we remain above our prior higher high, we are expecting macro continuations higher. We will turn bearish when the price action drops below on the weekly, below this level. Until then, we are expecting bullish continuations. Now, if we are able to close a weekly candle above this prior high, this will now turn to our higher high, and we will be watching our level at 6,000 as the bearish trigger for a weekly breakdown and continuation lower if we were to drop below it. So at the moment, we are expecting continuations, but we are also watching this weekly candle in 3 days and 23 hours to see how that closes out. That is it, guys, sort of broader market updates. Like we said, we are taking a look at the short term. We are jumping in to the macro charts. We are discussing possible top dates for both Bitcoin and even trying to do that for the altcoin market. So we have a lot to get into. Before we do, if you were interested in supporting the content, supporting me, and supporting yourself in your trading journey, go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. I use all of these exchanges. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%. Just by signing up, which can save you a whole heap of money. It has saved me well over $100,000 in fees. Just last month alone, I traded over $450 million in trading volume. Again, that 15% can build up to a 45% trading fee discount. So again, the more you trade, the more you get back from those discounts. Check it out, guys. Join up by the links down below. We'll play an ad and we'll jump back in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get stuck back into it. And we are starting on the short-term charts first, then going to the macro charts, then discussing altcoins, and then talking about possible top dates for Bitcoin and the altcoin market. Let's go ahead and dive on in. So as we can see, Bitcoin has developed a horizontal channel. Now, the key level we really need to break above over here is still going to be that range high sitting at that 99K resistance. As you can see, the 99K resistance is actually sitting just outside of the range high of our current horizontal consolidation, meaning we are going to need to break out of this horizontal consolidation to even attempt to retest this level to see a continuation higher. Until then, Bitcoin is in this chop zone. As we said in yesterday's video, the best thing Bitcoin can do right now, in my opinion, is consolidate sideways. It is totally healthy that we see the price action consolidate, develop new higher lows, see demand coming to the market, while we see Bitcoin dominance continue aggressively toward the downside, facilitating altcoins to gain against their Bitcoin pairs. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, altcoins is where the money is likely going to be flowing to from Bitcoin. So ideally, we want to see Bitcoin hold up. We want to see it push sideways at the bare minimum, which will allow altcoins to rally. If we see Bitcoin just print a God candle past 100,000, there's a good chance Bitcoin dominance will push back upwards and altcoins will start to bleed again. So we want to see Bitcoin slowly and steadily move toward the upside over the coming weeks, rather than seeing this aggressive rally like we saw a few weeks ago. So looking at the short-term price action, we're going to keep it very, very simple. We are in a horizontal consolidation. The measured move of this horizontal consolidation, taking from the range high to range low, applying to the breakout, does in fact take Bitcoin above 100,000. So we are going to say that if we are able to break above the range high of this horizontal consolidation, we are expecting not only to break above 99K, but this is the structural formation we are expecting that will facilitate a move into and above $100,000. So the break up of the range high at 98K will very likely result in a continuation past 100,000, which is a fantastic thing to think about. If we see a breakdown on the flip side, that measured move takes us back to the range low at 91,000. Now, if we come down to retest 91,000, we are technically retesting this broader range that we are in. We are in a broader range between 99K and 91,000, and technically this sideways consolidation will likely still play out. And the only thing we're really concerned about if we do see that move downwards would be the reaction on the higher time frame in regards to the RSI, the momentum. It is likely that if we see a retest back to 91,000, we could start to see either a breakdown on the daily RSI or at least a retest of the daily RSI. And again, as we know, a loss of the daily RSI is what needs to occur for the price action to essentially topple over and come back down. So provided we hold above 91,000, we are expecting an eventual continuation past 100,000. So say again, provided we sustain above 91K, we are expecting an eventual continuation above 100. The question is it going to happen from this consolidation, or are we going to see the broader horizontal consolidation develop before we break upwards? And that is going to be entirely determined based on whether or not this low at 94.8 is able to sustain or not. So, for us to see a continuation into the highs and thus a continuation into 100K, we need to break out of the short-term downtrend Bitcoin has been in since the start of December. This downtrend is represented by our downtrending diagonal trend line. We can see that on the chart as represented by this black downtrend. If we are able to break above this level, we are, as a consequence, expecting a continuation into the range high. Very simple, there's no need to overcomplicate it. Okay, if we retest the range high, we have had 1 retest, 2 retests, 3 retests, 4 retests. This will be our 5th retest. There's a greater probability that we will see a breakout on our 5th retest of this consolidation toward the upside. So we are expecting again a break of the downtrend, resulting in a retest and a break upward. That is it for the short term. There's no need to go into any more detail, guys. Zoom out, watch the range. Bitcoin is in a chop zone. We are still going to see this volatility on the short term and this sideways consolidation until Bitcoin makes a definitive directional move. And again, for that definitive directional move to actually execute, we need to see the range high break or the range low breakdown. If I had to bet on any direction, I'm expecting the range high to break. I'm expecting a continuation higher. However, I'm aware that if we do break the range low, expect 91K. That is it on the short term, guys. Let's move over to the higher time frame charts. So we discussed the possibility of a higher time frame correction moments ago, and we're going to take that a step further. We're going to say that if Bitcoin does not sustain above 91K and we see the daily RSI breakdown, in our eyes, based on how we trade on our strategy, momentum, of course, that would be a massive warning sign for a steeper correction to come. So we do have to be aware of that possibility as well. Let's move over to the macro charts. We discussed many months ago. In fact, we talked about this all the way back at like 20K, I think, back in early January 2023. We discussed a theory which I created, which was the 18 or 12 and 18 bar theory. And simply what the 12 and 18 bar theory does is it takes a date range expectation, okay, days between essentially 2 or 3 key points. The key points we're looking at are going to be all-time highs, so that's our first key points. We're looking at all-time high breakouts, our second key point, and our third key point is the bear market horizontal resistance breakout on the yearly. So these 3 points, we measure the distance between the all-time high and those points discussed, and we apply that to a future period to give some sort of prediction on when the top could potentially fall for Bitcoin and thus for the altcoin market. So let's take a look at it. Now, this isn't to give an exact top date. This isn't to say the top is 100% going to happen here, but it is to give a range, a date range where if we see top signals printing during this date range, we have to apply a little bit more significance to it. Or most importantly, if we see top signals print after the dates I'm about to give, then we have to expect those could potentially develop into tops. If we see top signals before the dates we're about to give, we have to apply a little bit less significance to those and expect those to be local tops rather than macro tops. And that is why I've said already on the Bitcoin price action, I expect this to be a local top, not a macro top, mainly because of what I'm about to tell you on the macro charts. So let's move over to the charts. As we can see, we have got some red lines horizontally. Don't worry about the vertical lines. The horizontal lines that we're looking at, we have got 2 horizontal lines per cycle. The first one is the yearly resistance, our bear market resistance. The second is the all-time high. Bear market resistance, all-time high. What we have done is we've taken a measured move from both of these points, bear market resistance and all-time high. We apply that to the breakout point of those horizontals and drag it to the all-time high. We then look at the 2 dates. We have 9 bars and 18 bars, and we take the largest of the 2. So in the first instance, it is 18 bars. We are taking the 18 bar period. On the second instance, we have 2 dates. We have got a 12 bar over here, and of course we have got if we drag from this breakout point, we have got a 16 bar. In this instance, we are taking the smaller of the 2. The reason we're taking the smaller and the largest is to give a nice spread and to try balance out when we apply to a future period. So it's going to give us a broader range, but that is a good thing sometimes when we have broader ranges. We don't want to be too specific on things like this because it can kind of skew our opinions and create biases that can be damaging. We want to have a nice broad range so when we're looking at this range, we can look at the price action as the price action is developing this range rather than be certain on specific dates. So then we apply this to our future period. Again, we have got our 12 bars from the breakout of the prior high. We've got our 18 bars from the breakout of the bear market resistance, and that gives us a date between those 2 levels. So then between those 2 levels, we have this little range over here, and that is going to be between the months of the beginning of March and April. March to April 2025 is when, according to our 18 to 12 bar theory, we are going to see a top for Bitcoin. Now, this again might not necessarily mean the exact top is going to happen between March to April, but it could give you a very good indication to how the price action could develop moving forward. Again, if we see top signals play out after March to April, that could be a top signal that we have to take more significance to or apply more significance to. Now, the exact middle date would be the 17th of March, 2025, if you want an exact date. But again, that is something we have to take with a grain of salt. So let's move over to the total altcoin market, and we'll explain this in a second. But if we take the breakout point of the last cycle and apply that, okay, that 18 bars forward to the all-time high. And again, I know we had 2 highs in the last cycle, but when it comes to altcoins, we are simply looking at the parabolic leg. We're not looking at a strong correction the next leg. We are focused on the singular parabolic leg we had. If we take a look at that 18 bars applied to over here, what date does that take us to? It takes us to March. It takes us to the 24th of March. So according to the 12 to 18 bar theory, the Bitcoin top will be the 17th of March, and altcoins run a little bit further, and that says the 24th of March. So will this play out perfectly? No. It is not designed to give an exact top. It is not designed to give you dates. It is designed to give you a range or levels of which, if we come to these dates and we haven't seen tops or we have seen potential top signals, we can act in certain ways that, may benefit us moving forward. And as I've discussed before, if we see potential top signs before, we take those with less weight. If we see them happen after or during, we take those with more weight. And of course, there's a lot more to it, but those are good indications. Let's look at this chart over here. As we've gone over in multiple videos now, this is a chart we're paying very close attention to. Essentially what it is suggesting the altcoin season has started. In fact, this is the 3rd week. It is the beginning of the 3rd week of altcoin season. According to this chart, we entered on altcoin season on the 18th of November. The week of the 18th of November is when altcoin season started. So the 11th of November, essentially, okay? What we can see over here is that according to what we saw historically, is we saw 3 things happen at the same time, which marked the start of altcoin season. We saw Bitcoin create a local top after a strong rally from its prior all-time high. We have ticked that off. We have done that. We have seen Bitcoin dominance fall at the time that Bitcoin created a local top. We have seen that, and we saw the altcoin market break through its yearly bear market resistance level, which was, again, the dead cat bounce high of the prior all-time high. We have seen that. So historically, we have seen all 3 points of confirmation confirming that we are in altcoin season, and this is an altcoin season. There's no way to spin it. We are literally in the altcoin season. We've been in the altcoin season for 3 weeks. Will this altcoin season be parabolic and explosive like the 2021 one? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we might. Maybe we will. It's hard to say, but we are in a altcoin season. The big question is now, how strong will the altcoin season be? That is a different question entirely. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a fantastic day. Catch you guys in the next one. See you then. Bye.